Welcome back, America. It's Hugh Hewitt, full of cocaine bumps. Mary Katherine Ham knows nothing about cocaine. I assume the University of Georgia was cocaine-free when she was a bulldog. Good morning, Hammer. How are you?
Yeah, it was really more PBR in my
Yeah.
experience.
Are you down Georgia way for the holidays?
I'm not in Georgia. But I'm at the lake, so it's much the same vibe.
All right. I learned something new yesterday, and I've been around a while, so I've never had a dog on the 4th of July. I learned that dogs and fireworks do not mix.
Oh, you know what? We had 4 dogs here, and they must be very brave because none of the 4 of them have any issue with fireworks.
Oh my
They
gosh.
must be really very extraordinary dogs because they were fine.
Tony, the commercial real estate guy, otherwise known as Tony Matches, led off the second Battle of Falmouth last night. And I'll tell you, Ralphie was going nuts. Mary Catherine, I've got former Vice President Pence on today, and he's over in Iowa. He's campaigning hard in Iowa. And it seems to me that the evangelical vote is the focus of both him and Tim Scott. Anybody else competing in Iowa besides Donald Trump? I mean, really competing? Or is it a three-way there?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that Tim Scott is the one who's been able to make, certainly with TV buys and with his very, very good personality and and way of connecting with people, has been able to sort of make some moments for himself. Pence, I think, of course, appeals to that type of voter, but I do think a new face like Scott has a better chance of making inroads there. And like I said, he has that very real treasure chest, and he's spending some of it there.
So Mark the contractor says to me yesterday at a barbecue, Trump should run as a Democrat. Then you get a plea deal like Hunter's on everything. And there are as many Trumpists in the Democratic Party as there are in the Republican Party, which raised the question, can you run on both tickets in New Hampshire? Could the former president run as both a Republican and a Democrat like you can do in New York on 2 lines?
Oh, that's interesting because Biden's taking a pass, correct?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can get that together that quickly for ballot access, or can you just do it?
Well, whatever it is, it depends on. No one has ballot access issues yet because they haven't set the date of the primary. When they set the date of the primary, the deadline will go. I just don't know if you're technically allowed under New Hampshire law to go for both.
We need to ask Sununu about this.
Do you see the possibilities there?
I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting possibilities there with Biden taking the pass because I just can't imagine that somebody with a little bit of ambition in the Democratic Party isn't like, let me do something there.
Yeah, my favorite Twitter post yesterday was out of Aspen, where a Robert Kennedy banner was eliciting the applause of our very, very enlightened, woke Aspen folk. What do you think about RFK Jr. at this point?
Look, I think, it's going to surprise you because I'm going to laud Michelle Goldberg of the New York Times, but she wrote a piece about RFK saying that he sort of leads the coalition of the distrustful. And I think
very well put.
I think she's nailed that. I think what a lot of people miss is they're trying to pin RFK Jr. on the right in this weird way, even though he's the literal Kennedy running in the Democratic Party and picking up 15 to 22%. So they're sort of pinning him on the right because they don't like his thoughts. But what they're missing is that there is this huge overlap of right-leaning and left-leaning sort of, I call them red-pilled hippies, like people who are distrustful of the government, and I might be becoming one of them, who are distrustful of the government, who look at Big Pharma with suspicion, things that the left used to be fine with, right? That was their thing. But RFK has sort of picked up the banner for those people, and it doesn't mean he's a great candidate or somebody who has a lot of good thoughts, but he is a person who unites those feelings.
I actually think he ought to just run and stay out. He ought to use the Biden strategy. Just put his name on the ballot and see what happens. In terms of what he represents, he is the antitrust candidate, and not traditional antitrust, but I have no trust in anybody candidate. Yesterday, a Louisiana district court judge, and I usually don't make much of district court decisions, enjoined the government from attempting to manipulate social media. Hooray for that Louisiana judge. Do you think Americans care about that, Mary Catherine?
They don't care about it as much as I want them to, Hugh. They really don't. And I kind of like the symbolism of it coming out on July 4th, but not a lot of people are going to be paying attention because the story's going to get a little old by the time we get to it in the news. So I hope that news gets out, and I wish that people cared that the government is using social media as its proxy to shut all of us up when we think the wrong things. But I'm not sure that they do. RFK cares. That's why he gets
Okay,
to
exit
distrust
question.
people.
I'll listen for the answer for this if we run out of time on the Getting Hammered with Vic Mattis and Mary Catherine. That's the greatest podcast in Mrs. Hewitt's universe. If you had to guess, will we find out the identity of the leaker of the Supreme Court opinion or the owner of the White House cocaine first?
Oh, I think cocaine first.
Oh, I'm
by the
not.
way, Did I tell you what the best tool is for figuring out who was doing lines at the White House?
Who? What?
Occam's razor.
I get it. I'm not sure everyone else does, but I get it. It's.
Come on, Hughes audience. You can do it.
You can do it. Think really hard on that. That is a mind teaser, a brain teaser. Mary Katherine Ham, follow her on Twitter at NK Hammer. Listen to Getting Hammered, the podcast of choice for the fetching Mrs. Hewitt with Vic Mattis every week, even on vacation.